Hi Gina.
Hi Ione. Hi everyone. I'm Gina, the senior editor of
Of what?
Polyester.
And I'm Ione, the founding editor-in-chief of Polyester, and this is the Polyester Podcast, a feminist pop culture podcast dissecting the discourse on a weekly basis.
Please make sure to like, rate, subscribe and review. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to our membership platform for exclusive podcast-centered perks.
Wow.
We're offering exclusive video episodes. Secret video episodes. And no, it was really getting me in my rhythm. And even episodes centered on what you want us to talk about across different tier options. Go check it out at the link in our description. Do we have any reviews, Ione?
We do. This is from Layla11 in the UK. Love this pod. 5 stars. This podcast genuinely got me looking forward to Mondays. Really keeps me in the loop of the discourse and trending topics, and I love the feminist fresh takes and fun sassy vibes. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then this is from 9. Lovely name. Nene. That's a lovely name.
That is a lovely name.
On Spotify 3 days ago. Great episode. Would love to hear your thoughts on internet regulation. Maybe one day.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh.
It's brewing.
But today's not that day.
Today's not that day. We're taking our lens to more traditional media.
Taylor Swift.
More traditional wives.
Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Oh.
Do you want to talk about why you wanted to do this episode?
Well, I didn't want to do this episode because I hate doing Taylor Swift episodes because everyone's nasty to me about hating Taylor Swift, so which is full circle with the theme, really.
Right, okay, disclaimer. If you have a problem with this episode, take it up with me, brothers. Leave Ione out of it.
Taylor Swift got engaged. I went when I saw the news.
Yeah.
I've
got Taylor Swift blocked on Instagram, so I could only see it when everyone started tweeting about it. But yeah, Taylor Swift's engaged to
Travis Kelce. It comes hot on the heels of her appearance on his podcast, his and his brother's podcast.
an album announcement on the podcast.
And her album announcement on the podcast. And then, so basically it was like she dropped some Instagram photos of her in a garden surrounded by roses, Travis proposing to her. She's wearing a really ugly Ralph Lauren dress.
That's sold out.
That's sold out. The ring is fucking foul. Have you seen that tweet where it's like a pap shot of her shouting at him from years ago? And then the tweet is like, why is it a lab-grown diamond?
Why, has she got a blood diamond?
Probably, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Does anyone actually buy lab-grown diamonds?
Yeah, I think famously.
Really?
Well, I think people either buy vintage ones.
Yeah.
Or lab grown.
Because you can't buy new now.
Well, you can, but it's very, very unethical.
Right. I don't know that much about the diamond industry.
Well, what I know in my heart
is that it's bad.
it's
fucked.
It's a bad time out there for the diamond miners.
She captioned it, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, with the dynamite emoji. And apparently the dynamite emoji is because they are T and T. Taylor and Trav.
I like that. The TNT. She should just put that. But I saw such a funny tweet that was like, oh, she should have captioned it being like, we did a thing. But then I was like...
we did a thing.
I was like, no, girlies. Charlie XCX put that as her caption.
Do you think they saw that and went, ah!
Well, I think that people are like, look how cringe Taylor Swift is. And it's like, by trying to say that, and then it's like, none of you see the wood for the trees because Charlie XCX.
Well, Charlie XCX
same
is
level.
cringe.
Exactly. Same level. Same, what is it? Same flavour, different font.
Yeah. Different side of the same coin. Also, people are saying that the engagement was on the same day she was on the podcast, and that Travis was like, because you know Taylor Swift is famous for Easter egging. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called.
Oh my god, I just got so paranoid it wasn't called that.
What else would it be called?
I don't know. Why is it even called Easter eggs?
What do you mean? Like Easter eggs in films and stuff?
Yeah, why is that called that?
Toy Story do it. Because it's like a little hidden secret gem that you find.
Why don't they call it something in a jewellery box?
Girl, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Take it up with the founder of the phrase.
Well, anyway, people are saying that Travis had it all planned because there's a bit in the podcast where the brother, who I believe is called Jason, said something and then Travis went, boyfriend, and like arched his eyebrows at the camera like and everyone was like, whoa, Travis has out Easter egged the Easter egger.
I don't think he has.
I think he's too thick.
I think she's been like,
planned it all. Yeah,
it's
100%.
time now for us to be engaged. This is the ring I want. This is the dress I want to wear. I'm ordering the flowers in.
And do you know why Gina thinks that?
Why?
Because Gina did that.
Excuse me. I did not.
You did it to a smaller degree.
Yeah, we were collaborative. No engagement.
That's such a crazy thing to say.
Why? So I've been in a modern relationship.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's get back on track. So, Taylor Swift, she's back. Did she ever leave? No, because no one ever fucking goes anywhere anymore. And it got me to thinking, a lot of people, there's been like a lot of articles, a lot of things about how like music criticism is dead, press tours are busted. And I feel like basically Taylor, which I already kind of said, I Easter egged on an episode a couple of weeks ago, because I said I bet Taylor Swift's about to do like the most annoying press tour of all time. All press tours are annoying now, arguably, and criticism doesn't exist.
Do you want to explain why you said that?
Why I said that about Taylor Swift?
No, why you think press tours aren't good anymore.
Well, I don't think press tours were ever good, let's just say that. But basically, people across the internet and writers in particular are saying that criticism has lost its edge. People aren't being critical of things, especially like reviewers. Something that I thought was interesting, so there was this New Yorker article, which was How Music Criticism Lost Its Edge by Khalifa Sana in the New Yorker. And he is basically like going through why he thinks this. And he's talking about like Metacritic or like, you know, Rotten Tomato, like review aggregators. And he's saying even today, music reviews on Metacritic are almost always green, which means good. Unlike reviews of films, which are more likely to be yellow for mixed average or red for bad, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting as well, that this kind of hasn't reached the filmosphere yet.
And I think it's something that a lot of people, and we've talked about before when we did that Halsey episode, where it was like she was going after critics basically and people saying the album was bad. It seems like we have a very like unhealthy culture for criticism in general, and like especially there was another bit in the research, and I don't know where it was basically saying like poptimism encouraged us to take pop music seriously, but that got conflated with like overly gushing about it. But I think like something that's integral to taking something seriously is the ability to criticize it.
Yeah, I think we...
Wait though. I feel like we need to explain more. I feel like we've just jumped into it from going from Taylor Swift.
Go on then.
The reason why I thought this was Rainfisher Kwan tweet that said, this was like before the engagement happened, saying, announcing her new album on the Kelce Brothers podcast, They Have to Be Engaged If Not Married Right, feels connected to her investment in a completely self-contained, self-produced Taylor Swift media universe with almost no reliance on external interviews or profiles, the self-published tour book, etc. Now the Kelce podcast is part of her media arm. Interesting. I would argue all celebrities are doing this, and it's not just Taylor Swift. Like, I think Taylor Swift is the most extreme example of someone trying to be like 100% insular and self-reliant, doesn't need any external validation to fuel her superstardom. But I would say it's like she's more of just like an indication of the cultural landscape in which celebrities want like complete control over their image, don't ever want to put themselves in a situation where they could like get some pushback in the form of journalism, whether that's on a podcast or in a magazine feature or whatever. Like that press tours should be like solely ego fluffing, etc.
Yeah, I think people are like, well, I don't want to be misinterpreted. But yeah. I think that's a willful misunderstanding of how journalism works. Like, if you've said something that could be open to misinterpretation, or you can claim that afterwards, you're still saying something that can be interpreted that way.
It's also just like a fundamental, as we've spoken about, like even last week with the Ethel Cain stuff, it's like it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how art works. And there was another piece, I think it was in that New Yorker piece, where it was what was it? The piece that said there's no dance critics anymore.
I think it was in that, yeah.
Oh, here.
Search dance.
Yeah, it was in the New Yorker piece, and it basically says, literary criticism is often seen as indispensable to intellectual life, perhaps because the form matches the content. An essay about literature is itself literature, and dance critics and their subjects seem to belong in the same fragile ecosystem with its own peculiar dominance rituals, apparently, but few people think of pop music critics as pillars of American intellectualism, and even fewer think of pop stars as an endangered species. Unlike movie critics or theatre critics or restaurant critics, pop critics can't even claim to be saving their readers time or money. Listening to a song is often easier, quicker and cheaper than reading about it. So I guess it's kind of saying like pop is a, you know, like it doesn't need criticism in the way other things do because it's like so culturally dominant. But then this piece also makes the point that like pop is at its essence like a commercial vehicle, which again I think Taylor Swift demonstrates so well. So did you see that like Travis Kelce has dropped an American Eagle collection day after the engagement announcement?
It's the Kardashian fucking...
It's the Kardashianification of, yeah, like celebrity. It's like everything's tied up, everything's a storyline. Nothing happens like naturally or without thinking about it. Like someone doesn't just get engaged. It's like they time it with this to detract from this or to promote this, or like you suddenly straight away know where her dress is from and you can buy it and it just feels so...
The Jets.
What's that?
Well, Travis Kelce plays for the Jets.
Oh, I don't know.
And Taylor Swift wanted to move the cultural conversation when you Google Taylor Swift Jets.
Oh, right. Yeah.
To not be about
your favourite.
Her private jets anymore.
And, like, within a space in which, like, everything is that thought out, they're like, superstars like her and everyone else is trying to follow suit. There's no space for criticism within that because it would like lead to the breaking down of the whole system. Like the whole thing is Taylor Swift as cultural force. Like the point is she's untouchable. The point is she doesn't need anyone else. The point is that like she exists on a completely other plane of existence. And if she opened herself up to any sort of vulnerability that wasn't staged, it detracts from that.
Well, Beyonce's been doing it the whole time.
Well, exactly. But I just think it's like so depressing as a culture, like so depressing. And I also think it's like one thing for like mega superstars to do this where I guess there has always been like this sense of untouchability. But I think like all celebrities following suit just is really bad.
Dire.
Makes like a really bad cultural state of affairs. And so the other thing was this Substack that Tobias Hess wrote for his Substack called Gen Zero. Why are all pop star interviews like that? And it's basically talking about like therapists, last culturistas, Call Her Daddy and Zane Lowe, where it's like a pop star, the format is podcast where a pop star sits down, the person is a fan and they just fawn over each other for ages. So like Lady Gaga and Last Culturistas where they're just being like, this bit changed my life, or like this part of your work changed my life, or when I was 11 I came to the Fame Ball and changed my life in this way, and Lady Gaga just gets to sit there and go, think.
I also think there's like this fake vulnerability that feels like it's just so curated, but it means that the not being criticised thing like flies under the radar because people are like, well, they are still being vulnerable in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Was before I think like celebrities kind of had like this distance between like how they actually feel and how they actually like have in their heart and the general public. Their way of being vulnerable was being open to critique.
So Tobias makes this point that basically, so like he's talking about therapists and Jake Shane an example, so that like the kikis he has with his guests basically become their own kind of fan fiction, like they feed parasocial relationships and feed standom in a way that like we haven't really seen, all of these podcasts in a way we haven't really seen of the press cycle. Like obviously it's also just like a response to form, like it's so much easier to see video content now, it's so much easier to see like staged vulnerable interactions between celebrities and like hosts, but that essentially I think that previously journalism had this like place in fan culture where it was like it was additive to if you're a fan of someone, but it wasn't pandering, if that makes sense. Like even in Almost Famous, when Lester Bangs is like to the boy, what's his name?
I've seen it once.
You've seen it once?
Yeah.
When Lester Bangs is like, he calls, so in Almost Famous, the main character goes on tour with a band and he's meant to profile them.
Yeah.
And
he's
he
like
becomes friends
16.
with them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't write honestly about how I want to write about this band anymore because they're my mates. Calls up Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs is like, that's what they want you to do. He's like, fame is the drug they feed you and they get you high and make you feel like you're a part of their club, but you're not. And you have to remember that. And he's like, cool. And then he writes the scathing piece and it gets pulled because the band complain. I forgot what my point was now because I was explaining the point of Almost Famous.
That Journalism used to be additive.
Yeah, not just pandering. Or it shouldn't be pandering. I think good journalism shouldn't be pandering. It should teach you something about someone that you didn't know, but also make you think about the work in a different way that you didn't think about it before. And by only having these pieces that are like direct to source and also overly fanfaring, it's just feeding into, this like artist controls the narrative, artist only lets us see what they see. Like, it just kind of ruins everything.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's boring, yeah. Well, and with that, let's go to a break.
We're back from the break.
We're back!
I think another bit that I found really interesting in the New Yorker piece was that obviously, like, we should hold journalists to this standard, but being a journalist just isn't what it used to be. Like, before you could make 90 grand a year. I think that's what the tweet says. It says, like, you can make 90 grand a year being, like, solely a music critic that is known for their reputation of maybe being snarky, maybe, like, offshoot. But I think me and you and a lot of our listeners will remember when there was like a big turning of the wheel of taking pop music seriously.
Yeah.
Like there was a big push for it in like, I think maybe like Tumblr feminism to be like, this means something. It should be treated with respect. And I think that in that conversation, we went from it being like overly negative to overly positive without there being like that nuance of like, well, if you're respected, you should be open to critique.
Well, yeah, I think people conflate respect with adoration, which isn't true. Like, to respect something is enough is to be able to criticize it as well.
Exactly.
Because you want it to be better. But also, Pop World, that's what that TV show was called, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, they used to be really mean to their guests.
I used to be part of the fun.
Yeah. And like Caitlin Moran and loads of stuff. But yeah, I think it's like an overcorrection where like you used to have, and also, yeah, it's like the history of the world. So like in Almost Famous as well. It was like the band didn't trust the journalist at first and they call him like the enemy. And like journalists are thought of as the enemy and that they're always trying to like fuck over the artist or like, you know, willfully misrepresent an artist, which A, I don't think has ever been true. B, I think now what we're seeing is such like a giant overcorrection of that mindset. Like we're seeing now, and we're also seeing journalists that want to be peers with celebrities. Like a really good example of this, which I don't think is as true anymore, is when Z-Way like first got really big and then she suddenly started hanging around with housewives and everyone was like, wait, isn't your whole thing critiquing celebrity culture? Suddenly it's like people are using like these short form content vehicles to be celebrities rather than to be hosts or like to be like journalists in whatever form that is, whether that's like, you know, an on camera or off camera journalist.
Well, that's what I thought was interesting about the Jake Shane piece of the Substack as well, was that they're like, Jake Shane is a celebrity, his best friend is Sophia Richie, like PRs and like people who manage celebrities will feel comfortable giving celebrities to Jake Shane to interview because they know that his like interests lie in like keeping these people happy.
Again, let's just go back to this point. Those two things shouldn't be mutually exclusive. Like, you should be able to be, for example, like Jake Shane had Lorde on, you should be able to be Lorde's friend and tell her if you don't like the album. Maybe not once it's out, like, that's really mean. Like, but like...
Well, maybe not on a public platform either.
Yeah, but it's not helpful. Like, it's just another, like, it's fucked. Like, you shouldn't be around people that are just yes people all the time. It's really unhealthy, whoever you are.
Well, I think this is the problem with, and I think it's interesting, this is kind of like the conclusion I came to when it was saying the stuff about the film. I will get to my original point.
Sorry.
Eventually. When it was saying like films still get panned and like books still get really badly panned. And I think it's that people see pop music and musicians, and pretty much all musicians, as a person before their art.
Or as a god before their art.
Exactly. But do you know what I mean? Like, people are like, this is a person who's vulnerable and this is their expression of themselves. Whereas like a film has got so many people involved and we don't even really celebrate the writer of films.
No.
Like, it's the director, it's the actors, it's how they interpreted the source work.
Yeah.
So that there's kind of like these layers that stop it being like something where people are like, oh, if I criticize this, it's going to emotionally impact someone.
Well, and I also think as an artist, yeah, it's like, don't worry, darling. Like, it's like, if you're an actor on that, you can go, oh, well, it's Olivia Wilde's fault because she was the director. And if you're Olivia Wilde, you can go like, oh, it's the studio's fault because they did these cuts.
Yeah.
Like, and that's less easy to do if you're a musician, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
No, but I think back to your original point.
Yes.
Is that like the industry of journalism is so scarce and like
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
stable.
Yeah.
That you can't do anything that rocks the boat for fear of not getting another job.
And what the New Yorker piece put really succinctly was that people aren't really critics that just get assigned to be critics anymore. And a lot of the time when editors and magazines and publications are pulling who can review this, who can be the person to write about this, they pick freelancers who they know are aligned in that world, and then they automatically have like a built-in positive bias for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they'll want to excuse it or they want to understand it. Was like if you come into it from a more neutral point of view, you can give a better critique. And I think this happened to me last year when I went to the Magdalena Bay gig.
Yeah.
And Hannah Ewens, who we know was there.
Yeah.
And then her review was like 3 out of 5 stars. And I was like, I absolutely loved it. But she came in as an outsider.
Yeah.
And was like, this is kind of what it reads as someone who's not like invested in that law. And I think that is more of what, like, I think criticism should be levied by people who aren't fans of the thing that they're criticising.
I kind of agree with you, but I also just think...
Or just be better journalists.
Exactly. Like, you can be a fan without being, like, fawning or gushing, or, like, we're so, like, mind-addled now that we think to be a fan of something is that, like, you'd, like, live and die by the sword of that person or of their art or whatever, but, like, you can change your mind. So, like, at the end of the New Yorker article, the writer says, in the early 2000s, I wrote plenty of negative reviews, but nowadays I feel less inspired to rail against, say, the most recent Lady Gaga album. It strikes me as awkward and effortful, like someone trying to start a dance party in an empty nightclub. But why commit that judgment to print when instead I could wait to see whether it'll grow on me, as awkward-seeming albums sometimes do? It's like, why don't you just say it might grow on you? Like, why don't you listen to it a few more times before you write your article? Why don't you do a million of these things? Like, why are we so obsessed with the fact now that if you, like, state an opinion, whether it's in writing or, like, on a podcast or on public record, then it's, like, your opinion forever? Like, isn't being a writer and being a journalist or, like, expressing opinions through cultural criticism, like... part of the deal is that it might change, and like the more you learn about culture, the more your taste will like change and adapt and grow because you understand everything more.
I think that can be true on a personal level, but the internet will hold you to account for something you've said for years.
Yeah, and then this is how we got to this fucking problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we've got
both
into
on
this
the celebrity and the journalist.
Because you're
side.
like, you're gonna fall on your sword. Like, are you gonna die over having that opinion? Not die, but people get fucking harangued, they get doxxed, they get treated so fucking badly.
Don't I know it?
For having an opinion that's adverse to like people with a massive fan base's opinion. And I think that is also like something that really needs to be addressed, is that you can't. And then you have people like Charlie again wearing t-shirts being like they don't have statues of critics. Like, we need to have space for that in our society as a respected position just as much as we have to have it for artists. It's like that Fran Lebowitz quote,
yeah,
where she's like, not only did a generation of artists die with AIDS, but a generation of critics.
Yeah.
And that's how like we've got like such like a low standard for what is good art and what is good pop culture.
Yeah.
Because we not only lost those great artists, but we lost those people who were able to differentiate what was good and what was bad.
Criticism is an art.
Tell them.
It is.
We're cultural critics.
And it's my favourite type of art.
We're cultural critics.
It's my favourite type of art. I love to criticise.
I guess as well, like, in a culture where people are told to be humble, it makes it hard for you to position yourself as a critic, because people are like, well, what do you know?
Loads. Just learn something then. Like, read articles, read whatever you want. Like,
no, I know, but I think that's like something that people want to humble people who have opinions, because it happens all the time. Someone will be like, and obviously I don't agree with this, but people will be like, oh, I think this girl on Love Island is ugly, and then people will zoom in on their profile picture and be like, you're busted.
But to be fair, I would say ugly people calling other people ugly is a bit different.
But I think like the same like narrative of how we treat one another.
Yeah, it's
online.
like, why are you in a position to say this?
Yeah, who are you? Like, how many fucking albums have you got?
Well, and then this New Yorker piece, or maybe it's different. It might be the Substack piece, or something in this research also makes the point that like the internet has replaced criticism, because like no one's going to go as hard as someone that doesn't like something who has a Twitter account. But the difference being is that like if you're actually writing a review, you have to think about why you don't like something. You can't just be like blinkers on. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, exactly. I think like good criticism has opinions in both hands.
And then back to Taylor Swift, it's that like I feel like she's set up a lot of this culture as well, like through her PR, who she's had for ages.
It's called Tree Pain?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Crazy. Crazy.
Because I was reading that article at the end of the research that explains who Tree Pain is.
Would you want to explain who Tree Pain is? Did you know who she was before this?
No, I had no fucking idea who Tree Pain was.
I knew loads about her. I don't know why.
So someone Ali Jones wrote for the Wall Street Journal, there are plenty of power publicists, but only one works for Taylor Swift. So there's this redhead woman who's often trailing Swift at award shows, rubbing shoulders with Gayle King, in the Eras Tour VIP area, become a cult figure in the Swiftverse of her own. She's a 52-year-old redhead called Tree Payne, who launched her own
Wait,
firm.
she's 52?
Yep.
Wow.
She launched her own firm, I think like 10 years ago, called Premium PR, and her first and only client still is Taylor Swift. And her whole life is dedicated to that. But the article kept saying Payne, because in our research, like, it's all condensed, like, chunks from articles.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it went, Tree Payne. And I went, what the fuck is her name Tree? Why is that hidden to surprise me at the end? But she sounds like she's not even doing PR properly. Like,
no, 100%. This is the thing. All she does is, like,
tweet and
issue
shout at people.
retractions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, she's fed into this culture so much because it's like she is giving it attention. Like, why are you tweeting a random, like, Taylor Swift stan account being like, this isn't true, take it down? Why are you issuing retractions all the time? Like, why are you threatening, like, legal on stans? Like, that's just such an overblown thing, and then makes everyone else run scared.
Well, Taylor Swift's so litigious, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like, famously so. Like, she got, like, all the law changed about how private jets can be
I genuinely
reported.
think Taylor Swift is a really bad person.
Yeah. And she, remember when she was suing loads of kids for having Etsy fan merch?
Yeah. And I also think something that annoys me about, like, feeding back into how Taylor Swift's basically trying to create this self-reliant universe where, like, she doesn't have to do anything is, like, go and do that somewhere else. Like, it's everywhere. Like, she's trying to target this in the most mass culture possible. Like, it's like she wants to be in complete control, but the most famous person in the world.
She's the queen and we're the sorry people.
Well, that's how I feel. I saw a tweet. Let me get it up. It was like, the Kelce Swift wedding is the closest thing that America will ever get to a royal wedding. Like, it's going to fucking boost the economy. There's going to be a baby boom afterwards. Think of all the fucking merch. There's going to be China plates with their face on it.
Yeah, someone tweeted being like, I wonder how many girls are going to get married after this.
Loads. And it was Mr. Beast that tweeted that.
Sorry, Caleb Heron hater, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, evil. It's depressing. Okay. That's the end of the episode before Gina gets us all cancelled. We've ended up on Taylor Swift Reddit before, and I don't want to get there again.
Babe, we are going to be there.
No.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ione.
Thanks so much, Gina, for ruining my life for the next 3 weeks with the review section of this podcast.
Thank you, Rob, for sound tech and
the research.
And thank you, Rob, for the research.
And thank you, Olivia, for the edit.
And thank you, all of you at home, for listening and keeping this to yourselves. And not posting it on the Taylor
The first rule of Polyester Podcast Club is we don't tell any Taylor Swift fans about Polyester Podcast Club.
And I'm really sorry if you are a gayler. I'm sure you're suffering at this time.
We'll see you next week. Bye!